Here's this week's project. It's just a little doorway piece. I would say it's about maybe 18, 20 inches high, and I will measure it in a minute so I can give you exact numbers. But I got it in a pile of items that I purchased from somebody that I used to buy a lot of antiques from, or old things. And I've had it kicking around in the barn for 2 years. And so it's pretty dirty and dusty and just, I had it way under a shelf in a corner. But the good thing about it is it's actually not in bad condition. It has these two button eyes. So I'm going to give it a really good cleanup. And yeah, I'm going to redesign this little kitty cat. I have a mix of Dawn dishwashing liquid, clean water, and some 91% alcohol. I'm going to start with that and then rinse it off really well. What kind of design am I going to do? I'm not 100% sure, but it's going to have something to do with the Made by Marley decoupage paper that I got recently gifted from Dar of DIYs by Dar. And I'm really excited about using it. I have a couple of different pieces that will be upcoming that I plan to use that paper on, but this is one of them. And I'm going to give this a really good rinse off camera. I know I've mentioned this before in other videos, but I haven't mentioned it in a while. Sometimes if I don't feel like sanding, and not every piece absolutely needs to be sanded. That's my opinion, okay? So take it for what you will. For this piece, it has a dull finish, and I'm going to go over this finish after it's all clean and rinsed and dry. I'm going to go over it with some denatured alcohol, and that's going to scuff up my finish. In other words, take off any gloss that's left over. And yeah, it doesn't need a lot. And I'm just lightly going over the finish. So that's giving it a little bit of a chemical scuff. If you don't like denatured alcohol, you don't have to use it. You can sand your piece. And I'm also going to go over it now with a little bit of shellac. Shellac also has denatured alcohol in it. And so it works together really well. I don't have to worry about any more rinsing. And so, yeah, I'm just going to give it a light coat, and I'm going to do it outside. Wow, it looks better already. Just with a little bit of cleaning and a little bit of shellac. So let's pick our paper and our color. I think actually that I will do a basic coat, a primer, if you will, but not strictly a primer, just a white pre-coat here. Okay, I have a chip brush, and I'm just going to moisten it a little bit. And I have a little bit of a nice creamy white paint. It's actually, the color is sheepskin, and it's a home decor, and I've used it a lot. It's not really a primer, but I already primed it with the shellac. And yeah, I can see a little ding right there when I put the paint on. Sometimes when you put the paint on, you can see little imperfections more easily. So yeah, I'm just going to put a light coat on. I don't mind brush strokes, and that's why I'm using the chip brush. I thought about doing molds on this piece, and I haven't really made up my mind. Now, you might think, oh, but if you paint it or use decoupage paper, then you can't put molds on afterwards. And yeah, I mean, you can though if you do a little bit of sanding, and in that respect, you do want to take down the finish a little bit so that your molds will adhere and your glue. So yeah, but you can always add the molds afterwards if you just take care of your finish first. Is it ideal? No, I guess not. But you know, sometimes when we're starting out, we actually don't know, or I don't know. I don't always know what my design is going to be. I kind of have an idea, but that idea may not be fruitful. Sometimes I get started and you know the design just kind of creates itself. So I kind of design along the way. Now I haven't picked my paper yet, so I don't know what colors I will use in the paint. And I do plan on painting at least a All right, I'm going to let this dry nice in front of the heater. I might even give it a second coat. I'm not sure. But yeah, I'll put my paintbrush in some water and cover up my paints in case I want to use them again tomorrow. And yeah, I'll leave the heater going. Let's go choose some paper and decide what we're going to do for a design. Okay, so I went back and got the Made by Marley papers and brought them back to the shop. I was looking at them a little bit at home, and then while I was at home, I just drew up a little bit of a potential design. And yeah, so I'm going to put some molds here in the bottom, and I might do transfer flowers as if the kitty's sitting in some flowers. This will be decoupage paper. We're going to put a little crown of molds on her head, and I don't know, I might decorate her ears. And then this, I'm either going to put a little bit of a trim, and I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this trim, and then I'm going to add molds over it. So I think that would be really pretty. So yeah, sometimes, not all the time, but sometimes I'll draw out my idea just to see if it looks pretty on paper before I commit to it. So yeah. And I just wanted to catch up with the paints. Pretty much as soon as I got the paints put away, and I have some little bits of shelf liner here just to protect the paint. But now I'm going to have to start thinking about bringing the paints home, of course, because it's getting really cold here. This morning it's 42. Sorry, I mean it's 38. But I have my heater on here. And yeah, I got some molds out, and yeah, let's walk over here again. So I took out some clay. I did put it on top of the heater for a little while just to make sure it was getting a little bit more pliable. And I took out several molds, potential that I might be using. And yeah, so let's get started. All right. I'm going to start making some of my molds first. And what I did was I cut off a piece of the air dry clay and I just worked it a little bit with my hands. And I'm going to choose one of these little molds because it has some open geography here through which I'm hoping, you would still see the decoupage paper pattern. So it's my goal. And first I'm going to put, this is just uh, unfortunately, even with the heater on, it's kind of cold in here. And I think I overloaded this with clay. And while I have this warm, I'm going to make some of the flower molds as well. This already has cornstarch in it. I'll try to be a little bit more careful now when I make these. I don't like to put clay in twice because it has a tendency to crack. So I'll try not to do that again. Okay, I'm going to start my decoupage. And I'm going to start with a little collar here around Kitty's neck. It's within these papers. I'm going to see. I have enough decoupage, but my question is it actually going to show? And it means I'd have to glue over the decoupage, which I actually don't want to do. So I think I'm going to go below. So I would say, well, let me just mark that out with a pencil. So my mold will go right here. Right. And so I'll want my decoupage paper to go below this line. And I'm going to have to cut it in some pieces. Do that right now. And I'm going to And I will overlap each piece. And if I have to cut another one to complete it, I will do that. Okay. Just going to pour a little bit in there. Okay, I added a little bit of my glue, and I am going to start here. Hmm. So here I'm just making sure that that paper covers from side to side. And yeah, so I will cut off the white edging on here and just make sure that it will reach from side to side. So this top will be part of her dress, if you will, and so I'm going to wet an edge and make some tears because then I can paint around it and match the edging without getting a really harsh line. And this dress will go a little higher in the back than it is in the front, and her collar that she's wearing will be above that, and it will show a little skin or fur. I can move this decoupage paper if I need to. Now here you can see the jagged edge that I am following, and you'll see later on when I start painting the reason for doing that. And also, because there's a big back and front section, those pieces will have to be inserted individually. Now right here I'm going to mix up some color, and I'm thinking that I want a red that is a deep, um, I'm thinking more like a burgundy or a maroon, so I'm taking this Kacha paint, which the color is rouge, and I'm going to add some of the black paint into it just to see what I get for a color. I just need a little bit of this black paint because black is so pigmented that it's going to add quite a bit of depth to this color. And as I'm mixing it, I can see it's getting a little more purple, so there must be some blue in this black. So I'm going to add a little bit of yellow. And this is a paint couture. I want to say it's called Spanish Sunrise. And it's a very mild yellow. And I think it gives it just enough warmth to remove that purpley look. Okay, I have painted the flowers a pink, and I did the little flowers in a yellow, and I have the two Waverly paints, moss and fern, and I'm going to paint the leaves in that. And I'm going to do some blending on the flowers. Thank you for watching this week's video. This week I did a piece of decor that I had gotten a couple of years ago, and it just sat in the barn for a long time. It looked like a nice big piece of pine. It was in good condition once I washed it up and everything. And I wanted to try out the Made by Marley decoupage paper. And so I created a little design and tried to follow that design. And yeah, so I painted the piece. There was nothing to be repaired. I painted her, decorated her with molds. We did a little bit of clear coat acrylic afterwards, a little gold gilding wax, and she has a little necklace underneath some of these molds. She has a little crown, and yeah, her dress has gold seams on it, and I gave her wings so that she could fly. And yeah, that's how she came out. And she looks really cute now. I love the dress. It's very upscale. I mean, she was living in a barn. So if you look at her now, yeah, I like the Made by Marley paper. I actually pieced a lot of it together because it had to go on round edges. And so, but I love the way it's made. It's kind of made in a patchwork, almost like she's sort of a hippie, right? She's a flower child. And yeah, I happen to have these little flower decorations that I got at the Dollar Tree, I guess. Yeah. Yeah, she's so cute now. She's all in her hippie garb. We love. Thank you for watching. If you watched till the end of the video, I really appreciate it. If you're not subscribed, would you consider subscribing? If you liked the video, and if you liked it, please give it a thumbs up. And yeah, follow Lel and Marty at Made by Marley. And again, thank you so much to Dar at DIYs by Dar, because she actually gifted me the paper. She's a brand ambassador for Made by Marley papers. And so that was a really generous gift. She gave me a number of papers, so I hope to be using them in the future. And yeah, thank you again. I hope you have a great rest of your weekend, and I wish you all good and beautiful things.